get a little more sophisticated with my camera mount, maybe tomorrow. Not that you really need to see any more than me about me, just about the sound and serenity of it. I like the look of the oars as they leave their mark on the surface of the lake. A few minutes after 7, Friday. And there's your local chipped, oversized exhaust diesel truck making its way along East Crooked Lake. So we do have a little bit of road noise. So this week I learned about ASMR, and I'm going to play around with it a little bit. There's a little part of me that's not that thrilled about having the phone with me and what I'm doing right now. But I also would like to have the opportunity to talk things through. There's something about actually having your own private space, but yet being in the wide open and talking. Wow, the sunrise is spectacular. So I want to talk a few things this morning, and one is yesterday morning I kind of wished I would have been able to capture this thought. Here, I gotta show you this. Spin the boat around here. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Can't see it quite as good as I can in the reel, but if it gets more dramatic, I'll spin around again. That's really awesome. Anyway, not too long ago, I had somebody share with me a philosophy of how to manage your time with respect to comments on videos that we might post or articles or anything on social media. And the idea was simply this: look, if there's 2 comments, one is supportive of what you're doing and the other is against, or in some way derogatory, why would you spend time fighting the derogatory post and ignoring the post that's supporting you? They're more deserving of your energy and time. Don't focus on the negative. Well, that had some resonance with me. Oh, here's another shot. See if it comes out even better this time. So that started me to wonder a little when I was out yesterday morning for the first early morning row. times have I ever engaged anyone in person or online and convinced or won them over, say. And goodness knows, if you know me or spent any time around me, I've had my share of debates. Some would say arguments. I almost had one yesterday. Had someone park in front of one of our doors at our facility, and the person said, well, I'm not going to argue with you. I said, well, we're not arguing, we're discussing, because I was talking just like I'm talking right now. And we ended up, it worked out. I kept it low and monotone and respectful, and we at least came to a meeting of minds and an appreciation for one another, which was good. But that, I don't consider that like I won that person over. But the bottom line is, kind of sad, really, too, because the times where I felt like maybe I made my point, the response was only validated by the person saying, well, you backed me in a corner. That's not fair. So was that effective? Like, did I leave that discussion with that person in such a way that they felt better about me, themselves, the conversation we had? No, they felt like I tricked them or, overpowered them. That's not effective. That's not going anywhere. So I'm going to make a real effort to be brief, respectful, direct, but diplomatic as best I can be. And then focus on the people that are supportive. I think we have to, let me rephrase that. See, that's how ingrained it is in my nature. My statement was, I think we have to. I think I'm going to attempt, so don't hold me to it, I'm going to work at it. I'm going to attempt to not be combative, try to be supportive of other positions and opinions. And then I can see over some time, we do these rows as long as I can keep it up. Try to recognize any difference. Definitely going to get a different camera mount. It should be interesting to hear the water under the hull, but I think it'd just be a lot better to see it. It's a bit of a metaphor of what I just been talking about. I think it's beautiful what I'm looking at. I'm trying to describe it to you, asking you to imagine through your ears and the skyline what it's like, but there's no way you can appreciate how serene and pretty it is. So I'll take a second here, show you what you're missing, so you can look forward to the next video. Hopefully we'll show it. Tip the boat over. Oh, there we go. Sorry about the hand. Slow down. Yeah, I want you to see all this stuff. Especially this way. Going this way is the bomb. Okay, sorry about the hand again. Please stay put. Alright, my buddy Mike got me involved in this rowing program. He's gonna give me a lot of crap if he ever watches this video, or any of them, for not having a sliding rowing seat. I suppose that will come, Mike. I just kind of enjoy the simplicity of it right now, and don't know if I want to cloud the noise of the rolling seat into the program for myself, or for anybody that wants to enjoy what I'm enjoying right now. Took a friend out Saturday, Sunday, I don't know. Friend from Texas, about my age. And I think the most interesting part that you discover when you first start rowing is how your dominant arm, if you're right-handed, is, in the process, you find yourself very easily overwhelming the left arm. So much so that it almost becomes impossible to keep the boat straight, because you're constantly turning the bow of the boat opposite your dominant arm. So it does take a lot of, initially it takes a lot of presence of mind to try to equal those out. The real rowing sculls, this is a skiff, called a wine glass wherry, because of the shape of the transom, which is the back of the boat, is shaped like a wine glass. It's a wine glass wherry, W-H-E-R-R-Y. And they were popularized largely on the Thames, in England, for transportation. There's a scriptural context to the word wherry. I have to look it up again, I don't remember what it is. A rowing scull is what you might think of initially when you think of a rowing machine. Oh, mosquitoes are out. That's the long, narrow thing that's I haven't done it yet, so I'm told it's very difficult to even keep the boat upright. Probably the first thing you want to practice when sculling is how to get out of the boat if you roll over, or otherwise you literally have to balance the boat at the dock with the oars, otherwise you roll over. Who knows, maybe I'll do that someday, but I sure won't do it with a phone video on unless it's GoPro. I'm going to slip into my little cove here. So the sound you hear, aside from the water and the oars beating the water, is the sound of the oar locks. You get bronze oar locks. I'll show you when we get it all done here. The oars are spruce, they're very lightweight, and they're wrapped with leather so you don't wear the wood out in the finish of the wood. So that's the squeaky nature of the stroke. And I gotta get this down. I don't remember the terms of all the terms of actual rowing. There's reach and catch and a whole bunch of specific terms that relate to what I'm doing. But like a lot of things in life, through my years, I just started doing it. Taught myself how to windsurf. That was cool. I don't know if that came through on the video or not. A V formation of something. I was out on Lake Joanna nearby, and windy day, so I want to figure this windsurfing out. Bought this inexpensive used longboard. Ended up in the far end of the lake. Still hadn't figured it out. I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to figure it out because I got to get back home. So I did. What I remember about it is I had to take the action that was counter to my opinion. Had the most speed when I was going into the wind. So some of you might know or not know, I've been engaged in a somewhat new business. It's new to me. It's old to people that have been in it for a long time. Dry ice blasting. It started in the 1940s. I think the Navy pioneered it to clean ships. And we had about 20 people so far that were assisting, promoting their businesses, trying to get them work and trained them and consulted with them on how they could set their business up like we've been doing. And there's a discussion that's come up that it's a pretty cost-intensive and specialized form of artwork, I would say, at the level that we're suggesting that people want. And the discussions come up that a good portion, probably 70% or maybe even more, of the people that find out about it love it, want it, can't wait to hear about it. Hey, they want to get their car cleaned with Dryce because it's next level. They acknowledge and admit it. And then we've had to try to help our people manage and deal with the rejection, disappointment that most people have when they hear how much it costs. Well, most things in life are highly competitive. Some things remain highly competitive at certain levels because there just aren't that many people that will. Be careful what I term the. Be really careful about how I say this. At the truest and purest level of what's possible in this space, you've got a passionate car person that understands the cars, wants to execute the cleaning of the cars at a level that would be typically unusual for most people. Almost, and I mean, in some cases, probably disgusting. They would probably find it disgusting. So much care and attention to something like that. So I can understand how those same individuals would find it absurd, irritating, ridiculous if they inquired and found out that we charge $250 to $300 an hour, depending on where you're at. So this industry has been charging that and more for decades, but it's been largely mobile, where they come to you and perform the work. We're doing it in a largely stationary place, so we can control our environment. Makes the process better, makes the end result better. So the discussion is, oh gosh, what should I do to promote the business? And I get a lot of people, losing them as soon as I tell them how much it costs per hour. My concern is that if you, for the sake of startup risk, meaning you have the investment, you train, you're ready to do the work, you need to make some money to justify all that. You start lowering your cost to the customer or consumer just to get by. It feels like a spiral to a very negative place. I'm sure that every early entrepreneur or business owner has a struggle with this. My contention is, if you open that Pandora's box, you might be stuck in it forever. And it's been pointed out to me, I think that's very accurate. When you started, Scott, 2.5 years ago, you cleaned your own cars and sold them, and you were your own built-in customer, which is true. And lately, I've been sharing with my 55 Patreons that are following, and almost half of which are executing the work every day. Hey, you are your own best customer. Whatever you're passionate about, look for that. Go find something that someone wants to sell. It's got bad pictures, poor description, uninformed pricing, and buy it. Oh yeah, it's dirty too. Dry ice clean it. Dryce clean it, as I would say. Take great pictures. Teach yourself how to take pictures, or I'll teach you. Price it according to the market. Know your market. Present it better than when you found it. You get more for it. And in that process, you discover own best customer. And when those customers think it's too expensive, $250 or $300 an hour, come to terms with the fact that you're busy doing your own cars. You can't get to them until 1, 2, or 3 months later. They may come to terms with your pricing structure. Because I can tell you, if you buy a $3,000 item that's dirty for $1,000, clean it, take good pictures, present it, that's a pretty good margin for your time. So there's, the first response is, well, I don't have the money to buy stuff. Well, that's not true, because you can buy, if you spent $80,000 to $100,000 setting up your place and training and learning, you can afford to buy something. And so in a discussion with one of our Patreons yesterday, I thought, what if I create a method for our people that didn't have the money? Because you can't find everything that's of value to buy. And local people to local things have an advantage because they can act quicker, which is, by the way, the number one reason why people miss opportunities is they don't act fast enough, or they're not prepared to make good decisions quickly on a value. What if we loan the money to those Patreons, hold the title, let them clean it, pay them to clean it, become their customer, sell the asset, even give them a cut of the profit. So I put that back on myself. Well, if I can't do that, I should be able to pick one person and try it. And that's when it hit me. Struggling with how to certify our operators in this process. Testing is BS, really. Come on. Who hasn't somehow, some way cheated on a test? That's cool. Fish chasing the fish. So, I should be able to personally buy an asset or a car local to one of my operators, wherever they might be, and have the confidence to give them that car, have them clean it, and then ship it to myself, like I do all the time anyway, have for 40 years, and be satisfied with the results. So rather than say, okay, for you to be certified, you have to come here. Well, okay, probably a good idea to say, if you come here to get certified and trained, that's nice. You don't have to, though. It's really about spending a couple days or less being taught the principles that you would then go home and learn over time with not valuable assets, and then execute. So as I spoke to this patron about the concept of how to certify, we both agreed that, geez, through pictures and photographs, it's probably just as good as having some silly test. So yeah, you'd have to justify, show, and prove what equipment you have, what your setup looks like, those generic qualification things. But in the end, it's really about the work. Can you do the work? And is it up to our standard? Because that's all we're really trying to do with Dryce, D-R-Y-C, DryceNation.com. Is we're just trying to create a brand and a reach first nationally and then internationally, that anybody can go get their car cleaned with dry ice should they want to, and they can expect a consistent result. I don't have to come up with any brands to analogize that. I think you can figure that out. So I'm gonna explore that with the group on Monday. We have a weekly Zoom call on Monday. Usually lasts an hour. We're going to talk about that. Providing some capital to somebody to find value. I'll help them distinguish the value, and I'll make myself available on the valuation side. We have a lot of data on our site, the list, THALIST.com, the list. Over 100,000 results of collector cars, late model exotics. And I know how to interpret those as good as anybody because I built a system. So it's just like next level. I want to create a way for them to be their own best customer. I want to create a way to certify that they can do the work, and if they can make me happy. I've been told I'm a little obnoxious on the particularity side. Probably going to make most people happy, and thereby establish our precedent, have our brand quality. And if someone wants to violate the common sense application of, well, what if the guy you certify decides to bring someone else on and doesn't tell you, and he starts doing the work but not as well? Well, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to hear about it eventually, and then I'll have to do damage control, which I'm happy to do. Well, let me rephrase that. I'm willing to do. And by the way, one of the things I'm not that great at is editing and putting videos together. And I'm more of a real life person. I recently had a video go online that I stated that we take the lug nuts off of the wheel. We take the wheel off the car, we use a torque wrench, which is, if you know anything about torque wrenches, you know that's absolutely a joke. You would never do that. But in the process of being a human being, I made the mistake of saying it. Oh my goodness. I've actually had people make the comment about how silly and stupid that is, which it is. One comment above the other. Like, they won't even read my response of falling on the sword and, saying, yeah, it was a mistake and it was a dumb comment. It won't be the last one I make. They have to say it themselves, which is okay. So, in my paying homage to the way I started this video, talking about negative versus positive, I just try to turn it into a positive. It's like, yeah, I'm silly, I'm stupid, I say stupid things. I'm guessing I'm not alone. But rather than edit all my videos to be like I'm super smart and never screw anything up, I'm just going to run them. You don't like it? You want to call attention to me for making mistakes, and you're just validating what I already know. I'm a human being. Don't bother me. It saved me an enormous amount of time trying to tweak and edit out. Have only the good stuff. So that's what we're gonna do. Getting closer to back to the house now, and I'm gonna listen to the group. Today I'm gonna do my own little pilot experiment. I think the passion of our people, whatever that might be, and my interesting choice of vocation of buying and selling weird things that people struggle valuing, could be really helpful in helping our members validate what they're doing, why they're doing it, and for the people in their market to see it. Alright, see, I took some critique yesterday from the guy that built this boat that I'll show you before we're done. About how, if I want to roll fast, what I gotta do. Let's see what I can do here. Oh, it's not that easy. Come on, Mark. Even if you look at the oars, it's hard. It's like you gotta. A lot of concentration. This is gonna take some time. 8 to 10 knots, he says. My buddy Mike's like, yeah, if you had a rowing seat on there, you'd go a lot faster. Screw that up. Not so bad. That's gonna take some time. Not that great of a sunrise this morning. It's all bright and white, and then I was hoping for something more color. I hate wearing my glasses. Nope, missed the mark by quite a ways. Do I have to come at the dock a different angle? Finally gonna get our dock rebuilt. Oh, Mr. Fish. Looking forward to that. It's looking a little sketchy. Been here 17 years now. All the horsepower, odd vessels that Deborah and I bought and sold through the years and had. For this moment and this time, I think this boat suits me very well. One of my friends said, oh my gosh, with all the horsepower on tap or available to you, you're out there rowing? I was like, yeah. I like it. I have some ideas on how I can set this up so I don't risk scratching the boat, which I don't want to do. Oh, got some ducks. Right, this is going to be probably comical from your perspective. Alright, let's see how this works. Oh, I didn't get it quite. Got it. Yeah, see, that did not work. Now it's going to take a lot of energy. Okay, well. It's gonna be, you're going to like this, I think. More humanness. Bounce around too much. Cheat and use the jet ski. Okay. Not so bad. after videos someday. You can appreciate what we're doing and why we're doing it. Okay, here I come. Oh, phone's probably gonna go jingle. Not too bad. Could have been worse. Huh. I'll make sure you see more of that and less of me in the future. There she is. The wine glass wary. Wine glass? Wine glass. Okay. Anybody wants to buy a jet ski, come get it. Till next time. See ya.